I was in a quote unquote dream relationship. I lived with my partner and I was miserable. Embrace it, find your chosen circle, your chosen family. They will help you get rid of all the crap in your head and you can actually be your authentic self. I would say is when people in public, like it's in ticket offices, got my pronouns correct. I think that was the moment where I kind of felt as if I wasn't constantly being triggered. I got into activism because I didn't like the way that my community was being treated. And I still don't. There's only been one court case in this country of a trans person assaulting anyone in a bathroom. One court case. And then only two in the entirety of the US. I'm probably not going to name her because I don't think my insurance will stretch that far. Actually, it's quite publicised. So, J.K. Rowling.
Hello and welcome back to the Queerest podcast telling the fiercest stories. This is Queer Talker and I'm Ben Cicchetti. And this week I am joined by the inspiring Rico Jacob Chace. But before we get to that conversation, I've got a quick favour to ask. Wherever you are watching or listening to this episode, hit that subscribe button. It's one click that's going to make a massive difference. It's going to allow me to grow this podcast and it's going to allow me to bring you the best and the queerest episodes every single time. So in advance, thank you. Now to my conversation with Rico. Today, I am joined by someone that was on my initial wish list of guests for this podcast, Rico Jacob Chace. Welcome to Queer Talker.
Hey, honestly, thank you so much for having me. If I wasn't so overwhelmed with everything political, I would have 100% agreed to come on earlier, but I'm so glad to be here with you today. Thank you for having me. It's going to be a vibe.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I launched the podcast and then everything kind of kicked off. So I appreciate there was a lot of people that had to kind of say, in some time, I will definitely come on. So yeah, I appreciate you joining me today. And we're going to start with a little game that I like to call Queer Panic. It's a rapid fire set of questions and you just respond with the first thing that comes to mind. Starting with, what was the first album you ever owned?
Blink-182. Can't remember the name, pretty much all of them, to be honest with you.
Nice.
I used to be in a rock band.
Oh, really?
Blink-182. Yeah.
You were in a rock band. What did you instrument?
I was
singing?
a drummer. I was a bit of a band nerd when I was at school. So I was I was in choir, jazz band, orchestra, and also my rock band. I played piano and trumpet and drums.
That's amazing. I love that for you.
Thank you.
And I guess from that kind of music perspective, what would be your lip sync song of choice?
Oh my god, equally nerdy. On the street where she lives by My Fair Lady. I know when I say My Fair Lady, it's like, Rico, if you forgot who you are, but that song is an absolute banger.
Okay, I will admit ignorance and not know the song, so I will have to go and listen to it. And we have a playlist that we add all these songs to, so I will listen to it and then add it, and it'll be a vibe for people. Who was a childhood celebrity crush of yours?
I would say Jamelia, I think that's how you say it. The song See It in the Boy's Eyes. I thought that she was absolutely stunning.
100%.
Yeah, but I think I'm more of a sapiosexual now, so I'm not even sure. I know people are attractive, but I don't know who I'm attracted to. Like, I'm not having to like stare at you from across the room for a bit, like scoping out to see if the vibe's the vibe.
It's more about the vibe. I feel that.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I mean, I think so.
Okay, that's fair. And I guess, kind of leading from that, as you stare at people across the room, what is the biggest red flag for you?
Ooh, I hate jealousy. I hate jealousy and envy. I think it's such low vibration. Like, if someone tells me that they've done something which I think is amazing, my first response is, "Oh my god, that's absolutely brilliant! You like never stop, keep going." Yeah. And then I'd be like, "Wait, how did you do that? Like, how did you get your mindset into that? Like, who did you speak to?" And I feel as if when someone says something jealous in response, it's almost like they instantly going to put you down.
Yes.
But if I have a bad day and my entire circle is jealous, you're never going to achieve anything. Like, check yourself and check your circle. Like, always support people. So that's my red flag. I'm absolutely not. I'm done.
Yeah.
Bye.
I agree. I agree. People spend way too much time tearing each other down, especially in the social media world. So yeah, I think build each other up and be happy for each other. I think that's great. Speaking of kind of being happy for people, when was the last time you laughed so hard you cried?
One of my best friends, John Paul, it runs Recreate Space. Shout out Recreate Space.
There we go.
Um, like we laugh so hard, it's the point where it's kind of it's a, people are like, who are these dudes? Like we're just sitting there chuckling over weird stuff. Like I was taking
That's
a
real
video of some
friendship.
food. Yeah, exactly. And he just opens his mouth like a whale in the restaurant. And I literally burst out laughing. Like there's no one that can make me laugh like JP. JP's the real one. I just
I
said
love
JP.
that. I love that. That's true friendship right there. Where is your favorite place in the world?
Oh, I would say probably where I am right now. Now that's really, really boring, but I love plants. I love safe spaces. I love places where I can decompress. And my space is my space.
Yeah.
I invite very few people over because I'm all about energy and like vibes and good people. So yeah, here I am. I mean, I hustled hard for this. This is me. Like I worked hard to get here. So yeah, here I am right now.
Yeah.
But I really want to go to Egypt, the pyramids. So
Nice.
I'm going to manifest that. That's number 2.
Yeah. That's great. I'm fascinated by ancient Egypt, so that'd be definitely a trip worth making. What is a queer movie that changed you?
Here's me trying to think of a queer movie. Disclosure, that documentary. I love documentaries.
Yes, me too.
Also, Call Me by Your Name.
Yep.
I cried so hard at the end of that.
Yeah.
That was incredible. But Disclosure, as in changing my perspective, because there were so many moments where, let me explain Disclosure. Disclosure is a documentary talking about the perception of queer people in the media and how we're always vilified because it's the only way that artists could sneak us into the script. Yeah. But I was just like, is it me? Like, why did I grow up knowing that queer coding was bad? Like, how did you get that into a kid's head?
Yeah.
So that was really refreshing for me to realize that the reason why I have these perceptions is because of media. Yeah. And I was like, oh, because once you know, like a light switch like turns on your head and you think, oh, let me deprogram that in my own head. Yeah. So Disclosure on Netflix, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I highly recommend it to people. It's an incredible documentary. I think it was such an interesting take when they talked about the fact that up until, even just a few years ago, trans characters were played by a man dressed as a woman or a woman dressed as a man. And that created this perception in people that that's who trans people are, as they are pretending to be their gender. And that was a real kind of like, I was like, that's incredible. I never put that connection together. That is how, kind of to your point, that's how media had built this perception in everyone, right? And that's kind of what we now are working against.
Also, Silence of the Lambs. Did that,
yeah.
Did it add anything that they were dressed up in women's clothes? No, it wasn't needed. It's just constantly vilifying. It's just like anything. I don't know. I thought as if the person writing the script lacked imagination. It was like just grasping at straws and thought, hey, I'm just gonna throw that in there to get it signed off. And I don't really think about the ramifications. Like, what are you saying about this minority group? And because we don't really have a voice, TERFs have a massive voice, and we're kind of like on the fringes. It's really, really difficult in order to create authentic narratives.
I agree. Speaking of authentic narratives, is there a queer TV show that you recommend to everyone?
I would say Orange is the New Black. I love that so much. I think because it had queer coding, but it wasn't incredibly queer. That makes sense. Like, it was a narrative, and if people just happened to be queer, I thought that was quite refreshing. Yeah. And also Sex Education. Shout that out. My mate Anthony's in it. Also Felix. Sex Education is really, really good.
Nice.
Recommend.
2 amazing recommendations, both on Netflix. This isn't sponsored by Netflix, I promise. Even though we mentioned 3 Netflix things. What is a queer book you couldn't put down?
I'll admit, I haven't done much reading recently. I think because my day-to-day is mainly reading. I would say Girl, Woman, Other is quite good. I think that's recommended for a couple of awards. Okay. But honestly, when I take a break, I'm just gonna switch off social media and then just read.
I love that. I love that.
It's
We've had a lot
crazy.
of good recommendations on this, so there's definitely some good recommendations, and that's a great one. I'm gonna have to check that out. Who is your ultimate queer icon?
India Moore, I would say.
Yeah,
Like the humility, the talented actress, the activism, just absolute powerhouse. Yeah. I tend to respect people that are incredibly unapologetically authentic,
yeah.
but also care about people. I just feel as if the higher you climb, the more you forget where you came from, and you can't do that. You got to bring people up with you. So yeah, massively India Moore.
I love that. It's a great choice. What would be one word to describe your childhood?
I would say adventurous, but not for the reasons that you think. People think that I knew I was trans as a kid. There were signs, but I was too busy outside making mud pies and climbing trees. And I had like this boy in the street. We used to cycle around like our streets outside with our bikes, and then we got this Pikachu, and then I know it's really, really bad. We like beheaded it using the bike wheel. We like turned the
Wow.
bike wheel and
That wasn't where I thought
wild.
that was going.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone who
Pikachus.
cares about Pikachu. But yeah, no, we were just doing stupid stuff. Like that was just and I pretended like I was a ninja, and I used to hit the flies with my bamboo stick, and I was like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I was, yeah.
Imagination
So,
and adventurous. I love that. That's awesome.
yes, yes.
What is your 5-year queer dream?
5-year queer dream. Well, I'm working on a series right now. I want that to do well. I think that's for me. I won't tell you about it now, but I'm very, very excited about it. I think this is the first time that I put my stamp on something, as in like from the get-go. Usually I'm working on clients' work, which is nothing wrong with it. I love working
Yeah.
for clients because like I'm very, very good at that. But I think it's different having your own thing. Also, there's like a different level of anxiety because you really have to believe in yourself. You have to
Yeah.
really think, this is what I'm going to do, and I want to work with you.
Yeah.
You have to, it's different. It's very, very different. When I work with a client, I'm just like, well, the client's amazing, so you should work with them. It's different selling your
Different
own
when you're
stuff.
repping yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think I might just create like an email address, be like admin at, so I
Yeah.
can pretend I'm my system, and then I'll have a little bit more confidence when I email people. But anyway, I think that. But me as an individual, like I'm a massive family man, so like I'm working hard so I can build that dream. And for me, family is also like having my partner, potentially having kids, etc. So yeah, that for me is the dream. I wouldn't say 5-year plan because I'm not sure. I can barely take care of myself. I'm like, have I had a drink of water today? It's like 2 p.m. I'm like, have I? But yeah, that's kind of what I want in the long term. So I think that for me is a bit of a dream.
Yeah.
Well, not
That's
a dream. It's
beautiful.
gonna be a reality, but it's on the
100%.
cards.
Yeah. Definitely a reality. And yeah, maybe we'll get you back when you can talk about the project that you're working on. I can get some more details on that. Let's get a bit deeper because you said adventurous, and I believe to understand a queer person today as an adult, you do need to understand them as a young person. So, what should I know about you as a child or a teenager to understand the Rico that sits in front of me today?
Very stubborn.
Okay.
Like if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I didn't care. I mean, I worked incredibly hard at school, so I wasn't like a rebel. Like I knew the value and like working hard when it comes to education. But if I didn't like you, I didn't like you.
Yeah.
And I think that individuality. Obviously, I'll still be polite.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't know, but if I made a decision, I made a decision.
Yeah.
And I feel as if a lot of people as queer adults who are very, very vocal, all of us have that core trait because you can't be unapologetic yourself. You can't be online advocating for the rights of yourself and your community and have like those hang-ups. I mean, occasionally I have bad days. Yeah, hell yeah, everyone has bad days. But you have to have that sort of core determination and self-belief. So I feel like that's definitely from my childhood. But I will say though, I only started like identifying with my LGBT identity at the age of 25. So even
Yeah.
though I was very, very determined, I didn't necessarily want to disappoint, well, I guess my family, effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably not going to want me to say that on a podcast, but it's just true. So, yeah, at age 25, and I was just like, actually, no, realistically, I am very depressed.
Mm.
I am denying so much of my authentic identity. I was in a quote unquote dream relationship. I lived with my partner and I was miserable. And it just wasn't working. And I was like, well, why isn't it working? 'Cause I'm not myself. How are you supposed to love someone else if you can't love yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole journey has been incredibly refreshing. I now know who I am. And I think before I really wanted to find someone to complement my life in the sense like we would be whole together.
Right.
But then when you are by yourself and you are happy, you pick people because you will like vibe. Like, I'm okay, I'm good. Like, if I ask someone out and they say no, I'm just like, it's okay. I know I'm still awesome, but you don't. We're not a vibe. We're like Marmite. That's okay. We can still be friends. It's not that deep. But when you haven't done the work on yourself, it's just different. So I would say, I know I went in a massive circle just then.
That's good.
But I think for me as a child, like being very, very stubborn, like self-assured, and these are my boundaries. And if you don't like me after I tell you no, that's your problem because this is where my line is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that, actually, and putting those boundaries in place. You know, to your point, when you put yourself out there the way that we all do, you kind of can't use your energy on things that aren't going to give you that energy back. And I think that's where that kind of feeling of the vibe comes from for me. When you were kind of growing up, do you remember the first LGBTQ plus person you kind of became aware of, either in real life or in media? And I guess specifically, I'd be curious about the first kind of trans person you became aware of.
I think at school, someone would say, "Do you know Elton John is gay?" And be like, "What? Elton John? Like, how could he just be out there in the ether making songs and music?" And, and then we just look at artists and just be a bit confused. We're like, Prince? Maybe? Like, but because, I mean, Section 28 removed all mention of LGBT from the school curriculum. So they couldn't even tell us that bisexual people existed. So obviously there's going to be some problems.
Yeah.
We're growing up, like, looking at stars going like, I'm very confused. And yeah, even sex education, you know, it doesn't make sense. Like, they teach you to put on condoms, but they don't tell you about, like, other people exist and other sexualities exist. It's wild.
Yeah.
So I would say probably some of the big musicians, like Freddie Mercury, like Elton John. I think those were the moments. But I do distinctly remember that even in my school, it was very nerdy.
Okay.
So if you bullied any of us, the bully ended up getting blacklisted. No one would talk to them. It was an all-girls school as well.
Okay.
So, you know, they can be quite catty.
Yeah.
So being labeled as a bully was like the worst thing to ever happen to you because you ended up having to leave the school because no one would talk to you because you got blacklisted. Because you were mean to me in the locker room. But for some reason, LGBT being a lesbian or gay, that wasn't like no, that wasn't a no, which is a real shame actually. There was one girl, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. She got identified as a lesbian, and the bullying got so bad she had to leave the school. So I didn't necessarily know what it meant to be a lesbian. I think I kind of knew I didn't necessarily want to be it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Which is kind of funny, actually, considering it was an all-girls school, and every single year I used to have this person who was like my best friend. I used to open doors for her. I used to carry her bag. I literally took care of her. Like, what do you want for lunch? I'll go get it for you. Like, chivalry. Like, I used to take, and in a way, that kind of was, like, in a way, like my partner.
Yeah.
I had someone that I was very, very close to.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't necessarily sexual in my head, like in my head, that was my person. So even if you don't necessarily understand or you don't have the words to describe who you are, you still are inherently and organically going to become the person that you were meant to be. It was only when I hit puberty that I kind of realized that I fancied some of the girls in my school.
Yeah.
Where I was like, crap. I don't know if I can swear on this, but yeah.
Okay.
I was just like, this is probably not a good idea, considering where I am. But yeah, I think when I got to like 16, 17, things got a little bit more accepting. People were saying that they were LGBT. But yeah, I think I only really did anything about it at the age of 25. And I think I had this idea that if I didn't do anything about it, that it would be fine. I could just pretend that I was
Go
straight.
away. Yeah.
Anyone listening doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. It's
No.
just accept it, embrace it, find your chosen circle, your chosen family. They will help you get rid of all the crap in your head, and you can actually be your authentic self. Yeah.
I agree. And you mentioned your authentic self. For you, and you said it was a kind of, you were 25 when you fully kind of embraced your LGBTQ plus nature, your queerness. When do you think you first felt authentically yourself? And then when did you feel you could bring that authenticity to everything? So I do think it's another level, right? You can feel authentic, but then when you just are, something you said earlier, unapologetically yourself, it's kind of two different levels.
Damn. I would say, I think as a trans guy, I'm still transitioning. I may not look it, getting quite bearded at this point, but as I was taking testosterone, my butt was the first thing to grow, and I was just like, for Christ's sake, like I asked for pecs and you gave me butt. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. So I ended up being more pear-shaped, and before I had top surgery, I basically made my breast, my chest, I made them into pecs.
Yeah.
So I had pecs that I didn't earn. And I was like, yeah, I'm a big guy, la la la. But after I had top surgery, I looked more oval shaped, like a teardrop. And I was just like, this is not what I ordered. But slowly, because it takes 5 years, you know?
Okay.
Sometimes more. So my torso is growing out a bit. My pecs have kicked in now, but I've still got little chicken arms. So, you know, even though there's a lot about me that people are like, oh my God, you look good. I'm like, yeah, thank you. But because it's a journey, there's things about you that you're not necessarily going to like. But I think authentically myself, if I could put a specific moment on it, I would say is when people in public, like it's in ticket offices, got my pronouns correct. I think that was the moment where I kind of felt as if I wasn't constantly being triggered. Because the world saw me as I wanted to be. And just for anyone listening who's not necessarily familiar with the trans community, half of the trans community don't actually take hormone replacement therapy, which is the reason why it's really important to respect people's pronouns as and when they tell you. But the journey to transition does take a while. Yeah. It's like you're basically like a teenager. There was this really, really hilarious moment, and slightly uncomfortable, where a friend of mine, both of us were early stage transitioning, and we looked like we're 16-year-old boys, basically, because we haven't got any facial hair and we've got baby faces.
Yeah.
And there was these group of girls who were like 15 to like 18. We were in a shopping mall, came up to us and talked to us. And we're like, girl, you can't walk up to strangers like that.
Didn't your parents teach you?
Yeah, I was just like, look, where's your parents? And they were just like, oh, you know, parents let us out. I was just like, who let you out? I was just like, don't take any drinks from anyone. Don't get into anyone's cars.
Scary.
Like, stay together. There's crazy people out there. And everyone comes and bothers you. Come find Uncle Rico. Like, literally, you need to take care of yourselves. And they're like, okay, cool. Thank you for that. I'm just like, what? But no, because you're thrown back into puberty.
Yeah.
Because you look really, really young. And I'm very, very glad now that I'm looking closer to my age, because when I looked around about 21, I would hit on women who were like about 30, and they're just like, who is this kid talking to me? I was like, no. Give me a couple of years, please. I'll look appropriate. Like, it's just, it does take time. So you kind of have to be patient with yourself. But I'll say authenticity is when people started recognizing who I am. Yeah, that was blessed.
I think that's amazing. And obviously today you are one of the most visible trans voices in the UK right now. Award nominee, you've achieved so much for everything you've done. What was it inside you that made you want to be a vocal and visible out advocate? And how did that journey into activism begin for you?
I think I fell into it, to be honest with you. So my story is a bit dark.
Okay.
People don't necessarily know that. I mean, I used to talk about it fairly often, but now I'm not as much.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used to work in asset management and trading floors. So I have a degree in economics. So I went into onto trading floors, and when I was there, I ended up getting bullied quite badly for being queer. So I
Okay.
think I started going to like gay bars. I probably realized I was probably more non-binary in my presentation,
Yeah.
but they saw that as me quote unquote letting myself go because like
Yeah.
I was no longer like shaving, like I was wearing more boys' clothes. I was more likely to wear trousers instead of dresses, and they're just like,
Yeah.
what is going on? So I got bullied quite badly. I ended up post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay.
So like panic attacks pretty
Yeah.
much continuously, and it's not useful for a career or anything. So my anxiety was so bad that I couldn't actually read and write. It was that
Okay.
intense.
Wow.
So I got into documentary filmmaking because it was a skill set that I could use whilst I was getting everything back.
Yeah.
And I was living in South London with my parents. I love my parents for taking care of me throughout this journey because they must have been terrified. Um, but I traveled from South London to North London for about 2 hours to go to a queer camera training camp. And that was Rainbow Films. Shout out to Blaze, he runs that. It's still going ahead.
Awesome.
And through learning how to use a camera, I was part of the Pride and Protest documentary. I was a camera person on the Pride and Protest documentary. I also was using a boom. It's like this photos of me super skinny with my boomstick. And it was actually Blaze. He said, Rico, you're really good at speaking. This is where the self-belief comes in. This is why it's so important to find community, because the community will see the potential in you before you see it in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important. And Blaze said to me, you know a lot about history. You know very, very good at public speaking. And it was Blaze that forced me to report live at the Black Lives Matter protests. He was just like, you know all the history, off you go. So I was there like, what do I say? He was just like, just say what's behind you. And I
Yeah.
love Blaze for that moment because it was from that a anti-racism radio show saw me and they asked me to be the host for that. It was from that Transactional saw me, and then I ended up as a director, as a board for that. And then from that, I ended up working with LG Consortium that I'm now on the board at. So it's people seeing the potential in you and then basically going for it. But I would say I got into activism because I didn't like the way that my community was being treated.
Mm.
And I still don't. I think there's a certain level of self-belief that then leads to self-respect, which then leads to boundaries.
Yeah.
And I feel as if on a daily basis, our boundaries are being crossed and we are not being people are not respecting us.
Yeah.
I respect you, you respect me. It's very simple.
100%.
So I think it's that determination that kind of got me into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And yeah, it's an incredible journey to have gone on. And one of the things that comes up, and you kind of brought it up there in your response, it comes up a lot in this podcast, is this idea of intersectionality, that we all have multiple facets of who we are as people. How do you think your experience as a Black trans man has shaped how you navigate the world today?
I would say being Black in this country is different because you have your own culture. And I feel as if as a queer person, I didn't really expect to find my partner in the Black community because I expected to experience discrimination. I expected to experience like not being accepted. Not even necessarily from the person itself. Like I don't want to meet my partner's parents and them not to understand me or to make me feel like I'm taking them away. Like I want my kids to have their grandparents. Like I want that family to be there.
Yeah.
And very interestingly, I actually ended up accepting my Black side more when I finally found those Black queer spaces. But being part of the diaspora in the UK, you know, like someone will make references to TV shows in the white community that you haven't even seen.
Right.
Like they'll make a joke, and I'll be like, I don't know who the hell that is. Like, well, they look at you like, how do you not know that? I was like, I don't know. Do you know Vibes Cartel? Like, what? Like, you don't really sit fully in either setting. When I go back to Jamaica, I'm British. You know what I'm saying? So you are, I think someone spread it to me, as a Jamaican, you are perpetually nomadic. We are almost like a nomadic community.
Wow.
We never quite find our home. But being Black and trans, I would say as a community, because Black people tend to have bigger stature, Black trans women tend to have bigger stature, it's harder for them to be quote unquote passable.
Okay.
So therefore they experience discrimination by medical professionals, because some medical professionals say that I'm not going to help you unless I think you're actually going to be passable, which is diabolical.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's discrimination when you're out and about. So Black trans women is difficult. Plus, people don't think that you're intelligent just because you're Black. Me as a Black man, I would say possibility for being trans is actually easier because I've got my dad's genes. My brother and my dad are very, very bulky, muscular men. So I don't really need to go to the gym. I just sort of landed like this, which is okay. I know the belly's coming, but I know I need to get back to the gym. But when it comes to just general muscle mass, I'm blessed in that sense. So Black trans men, we tend to be quite passable. But being a Black man in the UK, wow, I didn't expect it to be this bad. It's something. It's definitely something. There was this point where I was in the club and I saw this guy selling drugs to some kids. So I said to the security guard, "Do you know that guy over there selling drugs?" And he said to me, "What am I going to do about it?" I was like, "Seriously, what are you going to do about it?" Wild.
Your job.
Yeah. But he was going to kick me out because I reported it. He said, "You do realize that when you report something that I'm going to have to do something about it. And when you make accusations, you need to make sure that they're true, etc." I was just like, this is wild.
That's crazy.
I'll go to supermarkets. And the moment I walk in, there's someone following me around. I got to the point where I say hello to them. Like, I can see you. Like, you think I don't know you were there? I know you were there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel as if it definitely is a different world. But being a man, male privilege is 100% a thing. Like, before walking around, I used to wear heels and dresses. Like, you would have to, people would just stare at you just because you looked attractive. I mean, I wasn't bad looking. So, you would wear an outfit and people would assume that you did that for the male gaze.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I did this for myself. I didn't do it so like random old dude would leer at me the entire bus journey. Like, it's inappropriate. It's incredibly inappropriate. If I was going to go home, if it gets past a certain hour, I'd take a cab. Like, you'd always make sure you know how you're going to get home. As a man, I can take buses home at 3 in the morning. I'm completely safe. No one bothers me. I mean, there is the risk that if there's an altercation, someone will punch me. Yeah. But the risk for women out and about is potentially rape and death. Let's be realistic about it. So it is a different world. So I think as a trans person, you do kind of see the cross-section of society. You kind of see how everything's put together. Oh, also male privilege. No one questions me anymore when it comes in meetings. I always say statistics, and I always say them because I know that they're true. Yeah. People are like, oh my God, yeah, it's amazing. That's it. As a woman, where did you get that statistic? Who told you that? Who have you been talking to? Or you'll be talking and someone will talk over you in the meeting to talk about something else. Or someone will repeat what you just said and say it was their idea. I was just like, are we in the same meeting? It's definitely a thing. And it's incredibly frustrating. So whenever I speak on panels, I always give credence and I give voice to women in the room and say, listen, it's true. Male privilege does exist. Don't let people gaslight you. It does exist. Yeah. So it's a funny old world.
Yeah, and a scary world, to be fair, like given everything you've just covered off. And it's getting scarier in so many ways. Obviously, earlier this year, we had the UK Supreme Court ruling. And I think for many in the trans community and in the wider LGBTQ community, it just kind of felt like a gut punch. I don't think we saw it coming the way it transpired. How did that land with you? And what do you think it says about where the UK is heading in terms of kind of trans rights in general?
How did it land? It's just been a continuous onslaught. So I'm on the board of a charity, infrastructure charity. So we have around about 500 members. So we know exactly what's happening in each of the charities. We try and help them. So from that perspective, I hear about it. Also, I'm an advisor at Trans Solidarity Alliance that goes to Parliament to educate MPs. A lot of these resources that are led to activism, some of them are funded. Most of them are in addition to day jobs. The number of activists that I meet is just like, I used to have a 9 to 5, but I ended up having to I ended up like losing my job because this has to happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in the trans community were doing this because we refuse to let it go. But the problem is that there's a new announcement literally every month. There's something happening every month. Um, and a lot of us either get burnt out or feel as if we're putting our lives and our careers on hold.
Yeah.
So in addition to there being like a 5-year waiting list to just get the first appointment as a trans person, so a lot of us end up like funding our own transition. I funded my own transition, mainly from public speaking,
Yeah.
and doing videography. So that's kind of how I managed to figure it out. But the hustle was real.
Yeah.
Um, and trigger warning, caution warning, people aren't making it.
Yeah.
And not that you think of a certain specific demographic that's going to potentially take their lives, but these are people that are running organizations.
Mm.
There was someone that was like, they knew everyone in the scene. They were always organizing events, like supporting people, shouting people out. There was someone that was running a trans a house, like voguing houses, etc. Yeah, black trans woman running a house. Someone else, the first trans person to go to Cambridge, I think, black trans person to go to Cambridge, ran an online free university. So I'm saying these are people that are incredibly talented, incredibly impressive, and they just, yeah. So I feel as if people don't realize that after every single announcement, we all check up on each other. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Anything you need? But it is like a relentless onslaught. So to get into the Supreme Court ruling, so I'm probably not going to name her because I don't think my insurance will stretch that far. Actually, it's quite publicized. So J.K. Rowling, along with the Supreme Court judge, decided to review the Equality Act to say that trans women are not women.
Yeah.
Now, people tend to think that that only impacts bathrooms. That's not the case. The Equality Act extends to pretty much all walks of life, all organizations, all single-sex spaces.
Yeah.
So me, as a black trans guy, couldn't go to a all-men's choir. It means that I would have to be treated as a woman in all spaces. So bathrooms, yes, but single-sex changing rooms, I'm bearded.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be going to a woman's changing room. It's ridiculous. As much as I really wish I missed the women's bathroom. The men's bathroom smells terrible.
It's gross.
There's like pee everywhere. No one talks. No one's like, oh my God, how was your day? Do you want to borrow my lip gloss? Like, none of that happens in the men's bathroom. It's very, very homophobic in there. It's like, look, keep your 100%. Eyes down, pee, don't look at my dick, and walk out.
Get out.
Yeah, exactly. There's no how are you, camaraderie, etc. Like the men's bathroom is wild in my
interesting.
So yeah, if they want to throw me back into the women's, somehow I'm having a great time. So the pre-court ruling is incredibly damaging. A lot of people are potentially going to flee the country because of the discrimination. I'm at wit's end with this current government, if I'm totally honest to you. Keir Starmer, not necessarily knowing what a genocide is, not necessarily knowing trans women as a woman. We've always existed. Explore Trans History Week to understand that in its depth. But another thing about the Supreme Court ruling is it didn't actually consult the EHRC off the back of it didn't consult a single trans person.
It's crazy. Also,
the Supreme Court ruling didn't consult a single trans person as well. Now, if I were to create laws about black people without black people in the room, that would be called segregation.
Yeah.
If I were to create laws about religious groups without a single religious group, you would call that out straight away.
It would never happen. Yeah.
Exactly. It's because people don't necessarily know about our community. They therefore think, because we're not familiar with them, so therefore they don't necessarily understand when segregation is actually happening.
Yeah.
But there's been quite a few politicians that have said that focusing on the trans debate is a very, very obvious political tactic in order to create a divisive vote and to not talk about things that are actually happening, like Thames Water putting sewage in our waterways, the fact that there's cost of living crisis, the fact that there's hyperinflation, the fact that the economy is in the dust, the fact that we're getting taxation from Europe. These are things that we really, really need to be talking about. but we're not, because we're
No.
focusing on trans. So I
Yeah.
think people really need to wake up and realize that it's not just trans people who are going to be impacted. If you look at the rollbacks in the US, a lot of this is from evangelical Christians. The funding is coming through. So you get evangelical Christians, who are a very, very well-funded group, against people that are doing this in their free time, as well as trying to do their jobs. Or trans people, a lot of us don't have those dream jobs because we're still transitioning. Who wants to go into a high-flying law firm and grow a beard?
Yeah.
It's difficult. We
Yeah, that's
transition and then we start our lives.
Yeah.
So not having access to hormones, we put our lives on hold. And that has a massive impact on our income and our ability to fight back and, you know, be able to fund things and survive the cost of living crisis. We're surviving everything else in addition to this. So you got evangelical Christians against the trans community. But yeah, I think that this government has definitely missed a trick. I feel like more than half of the community of the population are pro-trans community.
Yes.
Someone did like a study recently, and what you were seeing is clickbait articles.
100%.
So what's happening is no one's buying newspapers anymore. I haven't bought a newspaper in years. So reporters are realizing they have to have these alarmist headlines. And trans people have amazing alarmist headlines. There's only been one court case in this country of a trans person assaulting anyone in a bathroom. One court case. And then only two in the entirety of the US. So there's no credence. There's no evidence behind this. It's pure discrimination. And when you create laws which aren't based on facts, you just create discrimination. So I think Supreme Court EHSC ruling, the head of the EHSC lost her job over this. She's gone now. So now we need to make sure that we get politicians to vote on it. So Trans Solidarity Alliance is doing some amazing work. They created the largest mass lobby since Section 28. So give them a follow and, you know, get stuck in. And also check in on your trans siblings and your trans family, because they may be okay, but everyone loves a good cuppa.
Yeah, and people think this is just about bathrooms and changing rooms, which are obviously important and critical that people are able to use the correct bathroom. But it's actually about people's lives, right? It's not about trans women competing in sport. It's about trans women being able to live their life. Because to your point, so many people, when you back people into a corner, they make decisions they can never come back from. And that's horrific. So I talk about the kind of sports and everything kind of in these gateway arguments, but actually what you're talking about is people just wanting to live their authentic lives. And I think it was so interesting when that ruling happened. There's this clip that was on social media. I think you may have even been who shared it, that I saw it, of an MP, I'm pretty sure a Tory MP, on TV. And they were asked about trans men having to now use women's bathrooms. And he kind of genuinely seemed to have not figured out that trans men exist. Like, he literally thought this was just about trans women. This won't have any other impact. How dangerous is it for people in power, either politically, I guess, in the media, or just having a voice, to be seemingly, and maybe you'll tell me this isn't correct, but seemingly solely focused on trans women and kind of not paying attention to the rest of the community? Is that how it feels? Is that fair?
No, that is 100% the case. I think there's a little bit of sexism in the sense that trans men are not seen as men. So therefore, I mean, we are kind of cute and cuddly, to be fair. But, it's the overall fear. So I think with the trans women debate, I think that we need to give women credence to the fact that there is a rape culture. It is perpetuated. People are reported, and when they are reported, they hold up their underwear and said, "Oh, look, she was asking for it because she had like fluffy underwear." How did it happen in the US? Like, not fluffy, like lacy underwear.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It needs to be discussed. But men do not have to wear a dress in order to assault women, because trans women are treated worse than rapists in this country. So, I mean, was it Russell Brand assaulted a woman in a bathroom recently? He wasn't dressed up as a woman. So it's an entirely different discussion, and I think we have to give women who are being sexually assaulted the space to talk about it, and they have to be protected. I completely agree with that. But trans women, it's not. They're probably more scared of you.
Yeah.
They're probably scared you're going to realize who they are and then kick them out the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I think that in the anti-trans debate, I think it was on LBC. They'll say something like, "Oh, if if a man just sort of puts on a dress, you can just go into the bathroom." No, that's not the case at all. It's not. We aren't drag queens. They're trans women, and if we really want to get to the point where they look at people's identification documents, trans women, most of them will have M on their passports. So there is a way to know whether you have some sexual predator in the bathroom who's just having a jolly, and a trans woman, because we have the documentation. Most of them have the documentation.
Yeah.
Not all of them. So, I wouldn't want it to be, the new law, but it's possible. As a trans man, I signed female at birth. If I go into the women's bathroom, as the Supreme Court ruling would suggest, there's no way of distinguishing between me and a cis het man.
100%. Yeah.
Because we both have men on the passports.
Yeah.
So unless I drop my drawers, and for some trans guys, even that is not going to help you.
Yeah.
You're not going to know. So that for me is very dangerous because it literally opens the doors to bearded men. Anyone can walk in. And another side of that is if you have like butch lesbians, you don't look feminine enough. It polices what women should be and what women should and shouldn't be. So a lot of lesbians have been impacted by this ruling.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not law now, so no one should be implementing it. You can challenge it. I would reach out to non-binary barrister. Trying to remember his name. Non-binary barrister on Instagram.
Okay.
He's doing amazing work and can pick up your case. Also, Trans Legal Clinic, run by Olivia. So there is help. But no, it is ridiculous. It's very divisive. I think because of the UK, we've left Europe. So we're not part of that trading embargo. We need to have allies. And I think the US is probably the closest one. And Trump's number one thing on the agenda is transphobia.
Yeah. Literally got it into his inauguration speech. Like it's crazy that, that is. And when you remind yourselves that we are talking about such a small percentage of the population that are just trying to live their lives. And actually these rulings, to your point, it will be cis men that are actually perpetrating these crimes and doing these things. So we're punishing the trans community for things that cis men are going to do. And it just seems so backwards. And it just seems so scary and disheartening. But I do want to try and get back to how this conversation started, which was with hope and with joy. Despite all that noise and all that kind of difficulty, as you say, almost on a daily, weekly basis, there's a new headline. Are there moments or people that remind you that this fight is worth it and there is still joy and hope out there?
Yes. There's one thing that I forgot from the previous section, so I'll just quickly say it.
Go for it.
Just to continue my rant, Kelly was on TV and she basically said, "Oh yeah, I got an email about a woman that was assaulted by a cis man in the toilet, so therefore something needs to be done." She said cis. She said cis woman. So she's basically getting emails from women who are getting sexually assaulted, and she thinks, that says cis, so let's attack some trans people. It's just wild. It doesn't make any sense. So there's no credence to it. But anyway, back to your question about joy. Yes, and hell yes again. I would say there's camaraderie, there's sober spaces like Misery. You can go on a mushroom walk, there's Not a Phase, massive shout out to Not a Phase, free working out spaces, for trans people. I think there's Manchester, Birmingham, obviously also in London. So, there's a lot of safe spaces out there. We're really creating them. There's also spaces like cafes, Gay is the Word, you can get new literature if that's really your space. Also, trying to remember that now. The bookshop in Shoreditch.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure.
Oh, is that... Okay. There's a bookshop. There's a queer bookshop there in Shoreditch High Street Station. Go there as well. They also have a lot of spaces like voguing and yeah. So there is spaces there, but people tend to think that in trans spaces all we tend to talk about is being trans. We don't. We do talk about our newest hustle business opportunity in order to make bank and keep going. And we talk about what like a friend of mine was sending me videos about his new Victorian toilet that he's installed in his house. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Look at the flush system. I've got another friend. We love dinosaurs. We would go to dinosaur events together. There's joy in the community, and there's potential, but then in the present moment, there's a lot of happiness.
Yeah, and to your point, they just everyone just wants to live their life. Like, actually, we would much rather not have to talk about this all the time, every day, every kind of put so much effort into this. People just want to live their lives, and they want to live their lives happily and in a fulfilling way.
That's true. I feel as if a lot of our community, we have picked to be honest and authentic over a 9-to-5 cardboard box role. And if we do go into 9-to-5 cardboard box role, we're very, very careful which ones that we pick. And because of that, all of us we're natural hustlers, we're natural entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And even if we don't start that way, I have massive social anxiety. You don't know that. I've done speeches on stage, and I have really bad social anxiety. Okay. Because when you're part of the community and you're doing it for the cause, it's almost as if what you're doing transcends what you're currently going through.
Yeah.
And what I contribute as a public speaker, that's my skill set. That's how I contribute to my trans community. Whereas other people can write policy documents. I can write policy documents to save my life. I also find it really boring. So everyone has different spaces or different skill sets that they can offer to the community. And I was talking to someone and they were just like, oh, I actually this person runs a whole pride in the local community. It's like, oh, I just feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm like, girl, you run a pride. Like, you're doing a lot. It's like, yeah, but I could be doing more. I was like, no, there's a lot of people. And if you need to take the self-care to take a step back, please do that, because we're like a symbiotic organism. If you take a step back, other people will step forward. So when I see those up-and-coming young activists that like Ella Morgan killing it, absolutely killing it.
Obsessed.
About 2-3 years ago, I didn't necessarily know who she was, but now she's on the front line, and I love that for her because 100%. I'm tired. So when people take a step forward, I'm like, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got this as a community when it comes to activism. We've got this also of our safe spaces, and we've got this for joy. Also, I'll shout out LGBT Consortium. They're an infrastructure charity that I'm on the board of. If you do have an amazing idea or project, please come to us when it comes to setting up the actual organization itself, like writing grant applications. We've also got grant funding within the organization that we do distribute. There's an independent panel, so I can't help you with that, but 100% reach out to LGBT Consortium. Organizations like Not a Phase, can't think of the other ones now. Trans Solidarity Alliance.
Yeah.
These are organizations that I introduced to LGBT Consortium at their infancy, before they even were a thing. Oh, also Trans History Week. Yeah. And look at them now. So don't think the people that are doing amazing things out there that you can't be that person. 100%. All it takes is some support and camaraderie from your community, and you'll be out there. You'll be out there living what you want to do, how you want to contribute. So yeah, I'm doing that.
I think it's amazing. And I'm going to include as many links as possible in the description of this podcast so people can go and check out all these incredible organizations, because they are amazing. And obviously we started this conversation talking about a young Rico. So let's revisit him. What advice would you give to your younger self if you could? And would it be different if I said, what advice would you give to an LGBTQ plus person today?
I think it would be similar. I think I would say, don't be so scared. I think that's it. I think there's a lot of things that I didn't know the answer to, and that kind of scared me. Yeah. Like questions like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I can barely pick breakfast. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't know who I am. So how am I meant to know what I want to do for the rest of my life? Yeah. And also, like, things that bother teenagers, like if I set a boundary with that friend, will I lose them? Yeah. And I know this directly contradicts what I said earlier. Like, sometimes I was good at it, but sometimes it will take time. It took me a lot of time to be like, no, this is not what I want, or I don't like the way that you speak to me. So even though I got there, I get there a lot quicker now. Like pretty much at the end of the conversation, I'm just like, I'm never gonna speak to you again. Like, in my head, I'm like, I'm never speak to you again. Like I'm done because I now know that if I close one door, I will open 5 or 6 others.
Yeah.
And I love going out and meeting people. Sometimes I meet people, I'm just like, oh my God, you're horrible. But sometimes I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. And I get so excited when I meet new people because they tell me their path, what they've been up to. And I get so happy. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And I'd be like, oh, but have you spoken to this person? Have you spoken to that person? You need to speak to this person. Your friends are the people that mention your name in a room full of opportunities. And when you surround yourself with people like that, it just changes the game. And you flourish. And the moments where you lose sight of who you are as an individual, other people will remind you. They'll hold up the mirror and say, remember you did this? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I did do that. That was you. You need people like that in your life. So yeah, I would say find the community. Advice to LGBT youth, I would say don't listen to the media. Don't listen to what politicians are saying, because you know when you're a kid at school and people tell you don't say things unless it's true or whether it's kind. Adults have forgotten that. Being an adult, when you realize that it's still a big playground and people have less integrity as adults that when they did it as kids. So listen to your parents if they are being supportive for you, that they're telling you that, that the community is there. Find mermaids, find those queer spaces and listen to those safe spaces. Don't listen to the masses. That's what the adults are here for. The adults are here to fight for the masses. You enjoy your childhood. And there is a huge price to being an activist on the front line. So I know if I post something, I'm going to get hateable comments at the end of my post. That's just going to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's an adult situation. As a child, you need to focus on your education. You need to focus on making friends. You need to focus on what you want to do the rest of your life. And then that's absolutely terrifying. That's what kids need to be focusing on. Leave the politics to the adults. Enjoy your childhood because you only get it once.
100% agree. Couldn't agree more. And there was this theme that's come up throughout this conversation, I felt, which is this real sense of the importance of building other people up, celebrating other people's successes rather than trying to tear them down, and just the real sense of community. And that's kind of what I wanted this podcast to be about, is trying to spotlight incredible queer people doing amazing things so that people can see people like themselves living happy, fruitful lives. So who in your network would you want to hear on this podcast? And what one question would you want me to ask them?
Oh, see, that's a difficult question. And the reason being is that there's so many people that I love listening to.
Yeah.
I would say I'll probably shout out my mate, actually. John Paul, managing director at We Create Space. He's doing a lot of corporate engagement. Now, I've seen We Create Space from the start. It was run by someone called Michael and someone else called Malis.
Yeah.
But John Paul was really creating safe spaces where people can have meditation, also queer joy in corporations, which is kind of was unheard of a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I would say I would want you to ask him, what's next? Because you've created this amazing space. So how would you take it to the next stage? What's the dream? I think that's the dream, because I think in organizations you always see what they're currently doing, but a good CEO, someone who's at the helm, always has a vision, and I kind of want to see what their vision is, because I'm mind-bogglingly impressed by what they've done so far. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, we will reach out to him, try and get him on the podcast. They sound amazing. And I will definitely ask them, what is the dream? What's the vision? And we will get them on. Rico, thank you so much for being on Queer Talker with me today. As I said at the start, you were one of the first people on the list of people I wanted on this podcast, because I'm just so inspired by the work you do and all the incredible activism, and just support you give to the entire community. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you so much for being on Queer Talker with me today.
Thank you. I feel as if I did what I needed to do when it needed to get done, but as I say, thank you for reminding me, because sometimes there's days where even I forget. So thank you. And I also sometimes feel as if I am not doing enough. So someone saying that, I really appreciate that. But thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun. I forgot how much I love podcasts. This is great. Honestly, you're an absolute legend. Keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for giving space for authentic voices, because this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you.
Queer Talker walks that